Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today we are going to be looking at episode 8 from season 1, which is called The Promotion. And in today's episode look back, I'm just going to explain how I came up with this storyline. And it came from a past experience of mine of going head to head with someone for a promotion. Obviously, a lot of the stuff in this episode is made up as I was going along, but the basis of it is from a personal experience of mine. And there's just a few things in here that I want to point out from when I first started the animation channel, and how I've decided to integrate some of the things that I've done in the past and why. So let's just get started. Let's get straight into the episode, and we're probably going to have plenty to talk about.
Okay, thank you. See you later.
Bye, Susan. Oh wow, can you believe this? One of us will become the office manager.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to start. There's so many people in this office who need to kick up the...
What makes you think you're getting the job?
Oh, come on, don't start all this. We both know I will be better for the job. You're just a pushover who people take advantage of.
How do you figure?
Well, let's see. Every morning you come into work 15 minutes early to make a particular someone a cup of coffee. You'll do everything that people ask you to do. Last week, Jodie asked you to go to the supermarket for her on your break to buy some tampons, and you've done it. The next day, Josh said he couldn't come into work and asked if you could work an extra 6 hours so he could still get paid. You came in 3 hours earlier than you were supposed to and left 3 hours after your shift had finished. You're a pushover, and that's why you will not be a good fit for management.
Okay, let me just clear something up. I come in every morning to make you a cup of coffee because you said that you'd make me get the bus to work otherwise. Yes, Jodie needed tampons from the supermarket, but it was you who suggested I go and buy them for her. And I helped Josh out because he was sick, and everyone needs a little help sometimes.
Well, Josh went to a festival.
What?
Yeah, he posted pictures on Instagram that day. He was plastered and crowd surfing.
So he wasn't sick?
Well, if he was, then I want some of his medicine. That seems like good
Mr. Daz. Okay, so one thing, but that... Right, so you've heard it a lot up until now, and you're going to hear it a lot again. As I've said before, I don't really want to put words in that people don't want to be hearing. So anything, like, I'll say it in this one because it's just a look back, but the word arse or the feces word, which I won't say, but it'll always be the case that if Nick's about to say it or if Mr. Daz is about to say it, then they'll always be cut off. The idea for this is that to have the battle for the promotion of manager, it needs to be that, like, you've got Mr. Daz, he's confident that he's going to get it, he's confident that he's the one that can boss people around effectively, and then you've got Nick, which is the pushover that will do anything for anyone. And there's a lot of managers out there. I've had a lot of managers that some of them have been tough and stern, and they want things done their way, and that's the only way. And then I've had managers like Nick that they are pushovers. They will let you get away with doing whatever it is you want to do. But either way you look at it, that, like, some of the managers that I've had that are stern and tough, they've been good managers. But then also some of the managers that I've had that have been pushovers have also been good managers in their own way. So that was the basic idea that I wanted to do on this, that they both had different approaches to getting the management role, and that is based on the experience that I had when I was younger, because my approach was through the work that I do, and the guy that I was going up against, his approach was just trying to get it the dirty way, which in the end worked out for him, that he ended up getting the role. But I ended up leaving that job a couple of months later anyway, because something else turned up. So it kind of played into my favour that I never got it, because it led to bigger and better things. But yeah, let's just carry on. Management.
Okay, let's settle this then.
What are you doing?
I'm calling Susan. Hi Susan, Mr. Daz here. Me and Nick are already arguing over this promotion, so I was wondering if there was anything that needed management attention in the office this week. Well, yeah, we could compete for the position. Uh-huh. Okay, cool. Laters.
What did she say?
She's going to send me an email shortly. There are a few things that management would need to handle, and she said we can delegate the task between each other.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
She also said we have to choose the new manager ourselves. She doesn't want to make the decision.
Okay, well, we'll make a competition out of it, and the one with the most points will get the position.
Okay, cool. The email just came through.
What are the tasks?
1 minute. Okay, so there's just a few things that need to be sorted out. The first one is budgeting. The branch needs to make cutbacks, and it's our job to find out where. This is the amount we need to be saving each month.
Okay, cool. What else?
Let's see. There's fire safety, sales increases, data backup for 2019 and 2020, next month's rota, and reporting back this week's progress to head office.
Okay, sounds good. So who does what?
Well, I think we'll both take a stab at sorting these out.
What do you mean?
Well, for fire safety, we'll both have drills. You'll do the backup for 2019 and I will do 2020. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Cool. Right, I'm off home.
Didn't you want to get started now?
No, it's 5 o'clock. Time to finish.
That doesn't look good as a manager. You're supposed to be the first one here and the last one out.
Yeah, and that's why I plan on hiring an assistant manager so he can cover for me.
I still don't understand why you want this job. You don't need the pay rise and it seems like you hate going to work now, so why would you want more responsibility?
I just like the sound of it. Mr. Daz, office manager. It has a nice ring to it.
So, I need this job because I'm struggling financially and at a point in my life where everything seems to be going wrong and you want it because it has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just do this one favour for me and let me have the job and maybe get a bit of purpose in my life?
Listen, I am not about to give you any sympathy votes. This is a competition, fair and square. If you're capable of winning this competition, then you will be a worthy manager.
Fine.
Just remember that I am very competitive. I hate losing and I will play dirty if I have to.
See, this is something that's me. Not so much the playing dirty side. I do believe that if something was to come up, like for example, like a management role that I feel that I'm entitled to, it's not. I wouldn't do anything the dirty way to get it, but it is something. I am very competitive and I hate losing. I don't think there's many people out there that enjoy losing, but for me, it's something like mentality wise that if I'm gonna do something, I have to be successful at what I do, because when I do start doing something, I will put everything that I have into it. For example, with this animation channel. Now, when I first started this animation channel a little under a year ago, that I'd never animated before. That I used iClone a couple of times in the past, but never to a point where I knew what I was doing with it. So during the first lockdown that we had here in the UK, I decided that this is what I wanted to do. I've always been into creative writing, so I've written books, I've written movie scripts, I've written screenplays for TV series, and I've written music. So since I was a kid, I've always been a writer. I've always enjoyed writing. Not that the writing has ever led to anything, but I just looked at it. I think at the time when I first created this channel, I was writing a script called Flatmates, and it was about 4 guys that lived together, all from different backgrounds. And I wrote the first couple of episodes for it, and I just thought to myself that why am I doing this? That I'm going to write it and maybe not send it off, and nothing's going to come of it. So then I thought back to the animation side of things, that I've always been into animation films, animation series. So I thought, why not try and do it myself? So I knuckled down and I bought iClone, I bought Character Creator, and I really did start to get into it. And I had all these ideas like floating around in my head of what I could do with the channel. And the idea at first was, because I'd seen other channels that they never really done animated series, they done animated shorts, and like from one day to the next they're completely different topics and things like that. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to focus it around one character, and that one character was always going to be Mr. Daz. It was only a few months down the line that I created a video with Nick, and in that video Nick talks all the time, and it's the same, they work in the same place and Nick's still his colleague, but he talks all the time and he doesn't shut up. And then I've got the idea of creating a series around that, because that Nick character went down well with people that are close to me, like so family and friends and things like that, that they like the Nick character. I got the idea, wait a minute, I could create a series based around these two if I can do it in a way that Nick moves in with Mr. Daz. And then so I got the thinking cap on, and I started to write down ideas of what I could do and how that could work. And if you've watched these other episode look backs, you'll know that at the beginning, so for the first couple of episodes of this show, Nick was a chatter. He talked all the time, he never wanted to shut up. But for me, it started to grind on me a bit like that because I'd sit and watch them back and it annoyed me to sit and hear it. So I had to change that up a bit. But that is where I came up with the idea for this show. And yeah, so far so good. But in the determination side to succeed, that's what's there with this channel. That's why I put so much into it. Obviously, that for people that have created a YouTube channel, you know that like as of this recording, I think I've got 395 subscribers. So I don't earn anything from this animation. That I don't get any money for what I do. I'm a stay-at-home dad anyway, so I do this while my daughter's at school and while the boys are out. So when it's peaceful, and then when I have got spare time, then I'll sit and do it. So it is just something that the determination's there. And don't get me wrong, I am a quitter. That most of the people that are around me know that I will get something in my head that I want to do, and I will get halfway through doing it, and then something else will pop into my head. Right, I want to do this now. This is what I want to do, and then I'll stop. For example, at the beginning of last year, I started to write some books, and they're only short books. They're not long at all, and I got one done, which was a book about COVID, but in a different era, so it was a different variant of COVID. I've done a book about an abusive relationship, and all of these books can be found on Amazon. That I wrote them, I uploaded them, but they're rushed. So if I go onto Amazon now and I buy these books and I read them, I'm going to find a lot of mistakes. I'm going to find a lot of errors because I proofread and a couple of times, but not to the point where it's perfect. And that's what I'm trying to do with this show. That I've been doing this now for nearly a year, and like I said, I don't get nothing back from it, but it is something that I would like to eventually start earning from this. So that is the idea behind it. But even a year down the line, I don't feel the need to quit this channel or quit this show because I'm enjoying making it, and I feel that it brings out the best side in me creatively. That as I'm creating one episode, I'll get another idea for another 5 episodes down the line. And like while the ideas keep flowing, and while my voice is able to help me do the voices and things like that, the show will continue to carry on. And it doesn't matter how long it takes to reach the threshold that YouTube requires for monetization or anything like that. But like at the moment, it is just the case that it's the determination side behind it. And I think I went way off track there for the actual reason why I paused it.
You would do that to your best friend? No, of course not, but I would do it to you. You're just being mean now. Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll get over it sooner or later. I don't know why I bother with you. I try to open up and all I get in return is rudeness and sarcasm. Yeah, I know. This is why you can't be a manager. Look at you sitting there sulking. You can't be like that as a manager. You need to be forceful and get your point across first time so your minions will listen.
Animation side of this now is that if you was looking at Nick then, that I changed the animations too much at the beginning of this show, and like his stance at one point as opposed to his stance at the next point, it changes, and in that change it jolts and it jitters and it doesn't look natural. And even with his head, that I'd done the animation, so his head, he started to look down as if he was upset, and then when he looked up it was too quick, so he's looking down and all of a sudden it's straight up. There's no delay to it, so that it's more natural in the head look. That because if you do that, you're gonna end up bloody whiplash.
Watch this. David, what time do you call this? If I tell you to be at 7, I expect you to be at 7 o'clock, okay?
Okay, Mr. Daz, I am sorry. It won't happen again.
See? That's how it's done.
You're just evil. That's what you are.
No, I am his boss, and to assert my dominance, I have to be like that at times.
Okay, but you've just made a grown man cry for not being at 7 o'clock and it's 6:45. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, is it? Oh, well, it's done now. So, today is the day. You ready for war?
It's not going to be a war, Mr. Daz. I'm going to approach every task as a manager should, and I will prove to you that you don't have to be a monster to be a good boss.
Okay, we'll see, but you're going to fail miserably.
Oh yeah? And why is that?
Because you're soft. I can get you to do anything I want you to do with a little bit of manipulation.
Is that right? Like what?
Oh, nothing. Just small things.
No, come on, you're the master manipulator. What is it that I do for you that you've made me do?
Okay, fine. You know how you do all of my ironing because I have a fear of irons after a childhood accident?
Yeah?
Yeah, there was no accident.
Okay, what else?
Well, I haven't been barred from the supermarket for disruptive behaviour. I just don't like going there because the cashier's a twat.
So, I've been doing all the shopping for 6 weeks because you're lazy.
Well, yeah.
Okay, what else?
Oh, I would love to speak more about this, but we're at work now. Oh, darn it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is work on fire safety. It says here that we need to make sure all members of staff know exactly where the fire exits are and run a drill.
Okay, sounds easy enough. Let's get to work.
Okay, but before we get started, can I just ask you something?
What's that?
Where are the fire exits?
You don't know.
Well, there's never been a fire, so I've never needed to know.
But what if there was a fire? How would you get out?
Well, I'd probably just run in the opposite direction of the fire.
That is so irresponsible.
Yeah, alright, Mr. Know-It-all.
This is actually something that I used to work in an office, and the fire safety guy used to always say that, do you know where the fire exits are? Do you know where you're going if there's a fire? And my answer to it was always the case that run in the opposite direction of smoke. If you see smoke coming from a certain room, just don't go in that room, go the other way. And I mean, at the time, the office itself had 2 doors. Only one of them was an exit. So it was the case that if there was a fire, there was only one way out. That there was no other way out. The back door was blocked off completely anyway once you got out there. So yeah, my reaction to that was always, if there was a fire, I'd run in the opposite direction of the fire.
Started.
Fine. Can I have everybody's attention, please? Hello, guys, this is important. Hello, we need to run a fire drill, so can everyone please hang up their phones? Hello?
Hi, everybody. I've just put a load of spoons in the microwave, so it's probably going to go bang any second there. I would suggest you all get the hell out. There's your fire drill.
Mr. Daz, you can end up burning down the whole building.
Oh, chill out. It's a little fire in a metal fire bin. I found it in the car park.
Still, that's very unorthodox.
Yeah, well, it got the job done. Hello? Can I get everybody's attention? Hi, guys. You have no authority. So how are you getting on with the budget reductions, Nick?
Not too bad. I figured we could cut the extra overtime pay. If you want to do overtime, you get paid your normal hourly rate, but it takes the budget down quite a lot.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Why not?
Because that would mean I lose money, and I don't like losing money.
Okay, well, it took me an hour to figure all of this out. Why don't you tell me what you've been doing for the budget?
I've been watching Family Guy on my phone.
Really? That's not very productive, is it?
Yeah, but I already have a plan to cut the budget, and it was...
So for this, my first office job was for an estate agent in Limass, and one thing that people never used to really get their head around was that, like, at the time, it wasn't when I first got the job. I worked there and then I left there, and then a good few years later I went back. But when I went back, it was around the time that smartphones were coming out and you had Netflix and everything like that on the phones. And what I used to do is I would sit there all day watching Netflix, but people used to hate it. Like, the owner of the company, it never really bothered him, but the office manager used to hate it. But I was one of these that if I have to sit and work and listen to all of the noise of the office, it was too distracting. That you'd have so many different conversations and everything going on and so many different noises that I never used to be able to get the work done. So for me to even just have like one headphone in and to be watching a series or anything on Netflix, then it was the case that I got more work done. And then there'd be times, like for the job that I was a marketing manager at the time, so for the things that I needed to do on the marketing side, I used to get everything done on a Monday and a Tuesday. So Wednesday to Friday, I had no work unless something cropped up or unless I needed to go out to a property or anything like that. So it was the case that while working there, I spent more time actually getting through different shows. And I watched so many. I think I watched like Friends from beginning to end, How I Met Your Mother, The Big Bang Theory from beginning to end. Like at the time, it was still running. Prison Break. I've got through so many different things. Family Guy. I watched I think it was probably like 11 or 12 seasons of it. So yeah, that's where this comes from. The idea that Mr. Daz is sitting there watching Family Guy in this show is because it's what I used to do in work.
Or what they wanted to save.
Really? How is that?
You'll see. Let's go and tell the workers your idea for cutting budgets.
Hi guys. Hello. Hi, I need everybody's attention.
Oh, bloody hell. Oi, you lot, hang up your phones now and listen.
Thank you, but there's no need to talk to him like that. Okay, so we've both been tasked with cutting some of the budget spent from this branch, and I believe that I've come up with an idea that will work for everybody. I've decided that we should cut extra pay given for overtime. You will still receive your normal hourly rates, but no extras.
Wait for it. I don't think they like your idea.
Well, not every decision is going to be received well.
Yeah, my turn. Oi, you lot, shut up. Right, we need to cut budgets, and Nick's idea clearly isn't the best one, so I've got an idea of my own. Josh, can you come up here, please?
A couple of things here that if I was to recreate this episode now, for one, I'd probably do it that if you've got a load of employees that are up in arms about things, then not only would they be up in arms, they'd probably be up on their feet. And even down to the expressions, that the expressions of these characters now are exactly the same as the expressions that they were before they got told the bad news about the overtime. Another couple of things that I'll probably look out for, because I go through each scene now frame by frame, there's a few things in this scene that I would make sure does not happen now. So if you look at the woman at the back wearing the black vest, her strap goes through her arm. And then the woman here in the orange vest, her strap goes through her arm, but also her leg goes through the chair at the bottom. And the guy in the green at the back, his leg is starting to come through the desk. So these are just certain things now that I wouldn't allow to happen, because there's no need for it to be in there. That be going frame by frame just to make sure that like everything's how it should be. These are easily spotted, and like even now that. If I was watching this back without pausing it, I probably wouldn't notice it. I mean, I noticed the woman in the orange, I noticed her leg straight away, but I didn't notice the guy's leg at the back, because that could have just been something on the desk. And the woman in the black vest is very obvious, but the woman in the orange, the vest is not so obvious because of the colour of the vest and the skin colour. That I'm watching this now on a bigger monitor, so it's easier to see. But if I was sitting there watching this on a phone, probably wouldn't be noticed.
You're fired.
What? Why are you firing him?
Because he's crap at his job. He doesn't make no sales, he's always late, and he set fire in the kitchen earlier.
But you asked me to.
Yeah.
I hated this, that when I'd done this episode, I had the voice of Mr. Daz, Nick and David, but I wasn't really able to get my voice to change to an extent where it sounds different for others. So what I'd done is I recorded Josh's part in my normal voice, and I used the pitch and the tempo and everything in Audacity to change the voice. And Josh has turned around and said, like, but you told me to. But he sounds like a heavy set, like 600-pound man that has got like 4 chins and that's just the way he talks. I didn't like how this bit came out at all.
Sorry, but we can't just penalise the rest of the sales force because you can't do your job. You can work until the end of the day if you want, but you're not going to get paid for it.
How can you be so heartless?
It's just business. Oh, and guys, the rota for next month is up on the board. If you don't like it, then you can always do some job hunting with Josh. Exactly, Susan. I did try to tell him that he's not capable of doing it, but he doesn't listen. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I won't let you down.
What did she say?
Nick, if you didn't understand what was said based on what you just heard, then you're an idiot.
It sounded like she offered you the job.
Yeah, he's not a dunce.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. You can get out of my office now. Oh, wow, the manager. Got my own office, my own parking space, and a lot more money. This is the life.
Lois, I'm going to ask you this only
Oh,
once.
well, a bird.
Do you
Oh, Peter, you are a
do
funny
not
guy.
know about the bird?
What's going on out there? Oi, you lot, what's going on? There's still another 2 hours left in the day.
It's called a walkout, Mr. Daz. None of these people want you to be their boss, so they're going on strike.
But I won fair and square.
Yes, but it's not about winning the position. These people don't want to have to listen to you.
Oh,
So one other thing that I do now, and I'll admit at the time when I created this episode, I didn't really know too much about it, but like where Mr. Daz is standing, if you look at the brickwork behind him, that brickwork looks absolutely fine for the office. But then if you look into the hallway next to where Nick is, it doesn't look right. The texture of them bricks is not how it should be, and this is easy fix. This is one of the easier things that during animation that you can fix. And like now you wouldn't see that now in any of my shows because it is something that I don't use I don't use link textures. I'll always use unique textures, and I will make sure that for every wall it matches up perfectly. They're all the same size. But yeah, that is something that. Another thing that I noticed is the guy that works in the office in the green cardigan. Let's just go there until
Manager, someone they can walk all over.
So this guy here in the green, that when you go back to the beginning part, he's looking at nobody. He's looking and staring into space, but he's not moving. He's blinking, but he's not moving at all. And even the woman standing behind him, there is no movement. And at the time, my idea was that the scene was more about the conversation between Nick and David. Nick and Mr. Daz. And I decided to do it that the woman standing next to Nick would have the motion because it would take away the fact that there's no motion behind. But watching this back now, it looks strange and it looks weird. And even down to like this woman now, if you look at her on this pull screen, she's doing it so that she's got her arms on her hips, but her fist has gone straight through her hip. And that's just something that if you're going to animate, if you're going to use this, they are easy to fix with the motion layer settings. So it shouldn't really be in, but this was when I first started out with the series, and you're going to find a lot of mistakes up until like the recent episodes.
I'm friendly with them, but when push comes to shove, they will listen to me.
Oh yeah, of course they do. So I decided to give Nick the job as a manager. I just couldn't sit back and think he's struggling financially and mentally. He gets on my nerves, but I still kind of want him to be happy, and I don't really need the extra money or responsibilities. Okay, thank you, bye. Hi Josh, welcome back. Have a nice lunch break. Bloody rude.
Hi Mr. Daz, do you want to work this Saturday?
Let me see. No.
Why not?
Because you cut the overtime money so you could bring that twat back here?
Mind your language, Mr. Daz. I will not hesitate giving you a warning.
Yeah, whatever.
It feels kind of weird telling Mr. Daz what he can and can't do. At home he is the alpha because it was his apartment first, so I feel like I need to give him that power. It's a different story here though, and at work I am the boss, so he will listen to me.
So the reason why I decided to do it so in the end Nick won and Nick become manager, it simply was because of that. Now there's not a lot of scenes where you see Mr. Daz and Nick at work, but even down to the dimension of the relationship between them, it was Mr. Daz's apartment first and Nick moved in. So in any situation like that in real life, that Nick is always going to feel that that's Mr. Daz's apartment and he's just renting out a room. He's not going to feel that that apartment is his. It's not going to feel like home completely. So I wanted to do it in the sense that because Nick is Mr. Daz's boss, then when it comes to the scenes at home, the power is not completely shifted in Mr. Daz's direction. So he's not his landlord, he's not his boss, he's not everything. It was just a different dimension, and I think that worked out well going forward into like future episodes, because Nick kind of changes after this episode, that he begins to stand up to Mr. Daz a little bit more, and when Mr. Daz is doing things that he doesn't agree with, he's got no problem opening his mouth and telling him. So that is why I decided that Nick would win the promotion battle.
Time for the better. See you all tomorrow. Have a nice evening.
Right, so the reason why I put this bit in is because before I started this series, I'd done a video called the Early Morning Airport Run, and in that Mr. Daz takes Nick to the airport early hours in the morning, and what happens is Nick gets it all mixed up. So Mr. Daz gets around to him at like 6 a.m, gets him to the airport and everything, and Nick realises that it's the wrong day for the flight. So in the end, at the end of the episode, Mr. Daz just drives off and leaves him there, and the reaction I got to that part was pretty good. Like, a lot of people like that part because it came unexpectedly, but it was the first time that you really got to see the sort of relationship that Nick and Mr. Daz had, even though in that video Nick looks completely different. Like, Nick is not the same as the character he is now. I decided to recreate Nick completely for the show, but that's where the idea for this part came. And that's the end of it. So this was the promotion, which was episode 8. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you got some information from it that could help in some way. I will be uploading another video tomorrow, which will be episode 9, which I believe is Nick. I'll try and remember what the next episode is, but I can't actually remember. But there will be another one tomorrow. So thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.